I think Deron Williams has to be the biggest major market, big city bust in recent memory. At least in terms of me starting to follow sports in 95, he's been the biggest big market bust. He's, in my opinion, the biggest New York City bust. And people go, oh, Carl Pavano, Kevin Brown, this one, that one. Did we have much expectations for those people? This guy was coming over from the Jazz, and he was the messiah to the Nets. And he's been an absolute joke, just like the Brooklyn Nets. Just like that management over there. You know, they come to Brooklyn. It's bad enough they had 4 people coming to their games in Jersey. They come to Brooklyn in the Barclays Center, and now they have about 9 or 10 people coming to Brooklyn. Because it doesn't matter where you go, Nets. You could go to Las Vegas. You could be the Las Vegas Nets. You can go to fucking Hawaii and be the Hawaii Nets. If you have a product that just makes you cringe, no one is going to come. And I can't watch the Nets. I'll listen to a couple games on the radio. I'll watch highlights of the game. I cannot sit there and watch a Nets game. As a Nets fan, it is sickening. It is brutal. It is painful. You cringe. You cringe every time. I would rather watch paint dry than watch a Nets game. They are an embarrassment. I'd watch the Knicks with those young players that they're signing 10-day contracts. I'd watch them at 10-41 over the Nets any day of the week. I would watch any other team in the NBA play a basketball game other than the Nets. They are a joke. All this money. Traded away the future. Traded away 20 million draft picks for Garnett and Pierce. And they let Pierce walk. They put all their eggs in one basket. They traded away their whole draft for years. And what did they do it for, folks? What did the Nets do that for? They did it for a 44-win season and a berth in the second round of the playoffs. Are you kidding me? And you expect us Net fans to pay our hard-earned money and go to the Barclays Center for what? You don't care about us. Why should we care about you? And to have a guy like Deron Williams, who is getting paid a lot of money, and he can care less. Williams can care less. Whether he's on the court, whether he's winning, whether he's doing this, he can care less. You know why? Because Williams, at the end of the day, is getting a big paycheck. He does not care. And obviously, from looking at the structure of this team and the way it has been built, Billy King, the general manager, does not care. If I'm the Nets, you know what? I would have gave Jason Kidd full control. If you could rewind back to a year, I'm firing Billy King. Go back a year, I'm firing Billy King. And I'm putting, you know what, Jason? You want control? Fine. You're the GM and the coach. You got it. Because what Jason Kidd is doing with that team in Milwaukee, with those young guys, who they were the worst team in the NBA last year, what Jason Kidd is doing, Jason Kidd can coach. And I'm not saying Lionel Hollins can't coach. But Lionel Hollins can only do so much with the players, the lack of talent, and the lack of effort from his guys, especially coming from the veterans. The Brooklyn Nets are a joke. They're a joke. Let's see what happens next year or the year after when the Knicks get a lot of draft picks. The Knicks use their money. And the Knicks are killing this city. Winning 50 games. Because you know what? The Knicks have a guy named Phil Jackson who's not going to take losing kindly. And the Nets have a Russian owner that wants to sell the team about 3 years into his tenure. Because even he's saying, holy shit, what did I get myself into? What is this? This is dog shit. I don't want this. And the Nets will sell for a lot of money because of Brooklyn, because of New York. If the Nets were in Colorado, or the Nets were in, say, Portland or some other small market city, the Nets are being sold for $20. Because that's what this team is worth. $20. And it is embarrassing and a slap in the face to the fans that this is the team that you have on the floor. They can't hold a 17-point lead against Milwaukee in the fourth quarter. They can't beat teams at home. They can't beat the 76ers. At this point, I don't care that you're 3-0 against the Knicks. It's a joke. And you know it's bad when you're 3-0 against the Knicks, and I'm still not excited. Bring me baseball season. And listen, the Yankees are going to be bad. The Yankees are going to be so bad, but you know what? They'll be interesting bad. They'll have A-Rod. They'll have Tanaka going down with shoulder injuries. At least they'll be fun to watch. They'll suck, but they'll be fun to watch. This is horrible. I'd rather watch paint dry. How do you give up all these draft picks for Garnett and Pierce, and then you just let okay, Paul, get you going somewhere else. So then why do we give up the draft picks then? They're lucky Garnett came back for this year. I mean, it looks stupid regardless. But it would have looked even more stupid if Pierce would have left after a year, go to the Wizards, and Garnett retired. I mean, my God. Can you do a do-over? The Brooklyn Nets just end the season because it's horrible. And it's an insult to everybody that's a fan.